Real quick before we get into today's video, just want to thank the people over on Patreon who have taken the time out to help support the channel, and just got to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for your support. Once I start offering memberships and figure out what to offer for memberships on this channel, I'll start adding the names of YouTube members as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the review. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto episode 187. And now that Boruto episode 187 is done in the books, can we get a moment of recognition for Chef Kashin Koji? My man gave us some grilled Victor at one point. I believe he called that his grilled geezer special, and now my man has taken the carcass out there and he's proceeded to just fry up some Konohamaru Sarutobi for us, man. I never knew trash could taste so good. But yo, on the real though, man, obviously a lot of people are gonna be focused on the Konohamaru versus Kashin Koji fight, and I gotta say, as somebody that read the manga and took a few issues with how short the actual fight was in the manga, I like how the anime at least tried to make Kashin Koji versus Konohamaru be something where Konohamaru was halfway respectful. Now I know a few people are gonna say, yo, what are you talking about, dude? Konohamaru was getting washed, he was getting kicked around, and he was getting treated like trash. I just want to point something out. Kashin Koji, if you can't tell by now, Kashin Koji is very strong. Very strong. Even Orochimaru, when he was going up against Victor, give you an idea, even Orochimaru, when he was going up against Victor, Orochimaru was in control of that fight, but Victor lasted a really long time against him. A really long time against Orochimaru. Orochimaru was toying around with him, at the same time Orochimaru was also using summoning snakes and everything. Kashin Koji took this dude out with one jutsu. Kashin Koji is very strong. I cannot stress this enough. But the fact is that the little stuff that they did in the Konohamaru versus Kashin Koji fight, where they added in extra taijutsu sequences. You saw Konohamaru with that brief moment to where he manages to get out of one of Koji's attacks, and you get this moment where you think Konohamaru is going to do something really, really beautiful. You think this might be his Kakashi moment. Kashin Koji retakes control over the fight. And I like how when Konohamaru uses that fire release jutsu, you know, Koji looks at it and it's like, okay, that's halfway decent. But Koji, he don't even use a substitution jutsu at this point. My man is enveloped by the flames and he's moving so fast Konohamaru can't even track him until it's too late. And so I thought those little small touches like that were really, really good. But again, I was very pleased to see they added extra sequences in there. And when you get to this point where Koji tells Konohamaru, he's mocking him, he's poking at his pride, he's saying, is this the best that a Konoha Jonin can do? You know, that actually says a lot about Koji's strength level, because the Dragon Flame Bomb Jutsu, I don't think a lot of people realize this. The Dragon Flame Bomb Jutsu is a very high level fire release jutsu, and Kashin Koji is looking at Konohamaru saying, is that all? Again, this is a very powerful character, and you see that with the Rasengan clash when Konohamaru is ready to give this guy all of the smoke. Kashin Koji is highly suppressed and he's knocking back Konohamaru's Rasengan. Rasengan is a very powerful jutsu. You have to be very skilled and you have to compress an enormous amount of chakra volume in order to do the Rasengan, and Koji is casually pushing it back without any type of concern. That should be your clue right there, that you're dealing with a very powerful shinobi. I know it's very easy to rag on Konohamaru here, but I think that an understanding of some of the jutsu that Konohamaru's whipping out should give you a little bit more of an appreciation. Yes, Koji dogged him out in this fight, but Konohamaru was hitting Koji with some very powerful jutsu. This is just one of those matters to where Konohamaru's skilled and he's using a lot of powerful stuff, but the person that he's fighting is just simply way too powerful for him. It was a very respectable effort by Konohamaru in my opinion. I think the anime did a halfway decent job of making him look more respectable than the manga did, so kudos for that. But I like how after all that's over, he says, hey, That's not too bad. However, on your left, if you watch Captain America Winter Soldier, you get that line. But essentially, during all that time, Konohamaru didn't even realize that Koji put those exploding toads on him, and that started the whole fire release jutsu that he hits him with. And so I like what you see there. I really like what you see there, because it just shows you that Koji is on a different level, and it should give you some callbacks to early part 1 of Naruto, to where it was always the jutsu behind the jutsu that you always had to be worried about. It wasn't necessarily the jutsu that you were dealing with as you were fighting somebody, but instead all that stuff was all a distraction to set up the end game right there. And I like that moment right there. I really like that, because it just shows you that on top of being extremely powerful and very diverse, my man's using frog summonings, he's using fire release, he's also using Sealing Jutsu. Kashin Koji, in that very brief period of time, shows you what an elite ninja can actually do. And so I like that right there, because it shows you how big of a gap exists between Konohamaru and between Kashin Koji. He's had a chance to fight an inner member. The problem is that Team 7 went up against 2 of the weakest inner members, and you see the huge gap right here. There's a massive gap between Kashin Koji and the weaker members like Victor and Deepa. So I like that you see that right there. I like that you see how just in the matter of a few sequences, Konohamaru was about to get killed. So I thought that that was beautiful. I like how they finished off Al's character arc, where he reverts back to being a shinobi, and I like the brief exchange between Koji and Boruto, to where Boruto's like, no, shinobi, they're not tools to be used. And that kind of goes back to what I said before, you know, the Zabuza line, where Zabuza basically says that shinobi are tools to be used. So I like that little moment right there, to where it's kind of like a little bit of a callback. And I thought Al went out very poetically. The man who used to be a shinobi and then became a walking tool and relied on science, and found himself a little disgusted that he had to use all these tools to gain the advantage over Ganin. At the last minute, he's going back to actually use a ninjutsu, and he's dying as a ninja. So I thought Al's arc was very well done in this one. I thought that that was very well done. The same thing with how they buried him at the end of the episode. Again, that's another callback to what you got in the Land of Waves when they buried Zabuza and Haku. So I thought that was cool, and I like how Konohamaru says, like, hey, we just gonna keep this between us. We're gonna allow him to die as a hero, as a shinobi. We're not gonna disgrace his name like that. So I like that. And Konohamaru even says, like, I hate what he did to Mujino, but he did save your life. So I thought that that was pretty cool, man. I thought that was cool. Now, obviously we have to kind of go back to that moment when Boruto saves Konohamaru. I thought that they did very good when it comes to adapting some of those scenes and living in the moment here. And because I'm somebody that critiques Ikimoto in the manga so much, I have to give credit where credit is due. So when you look at the anime version and you look at the manga version, this is one of the few times where the manga version, in terms of the actual details, the details in the manga after Boruto saves Konohamaru's life are actually better done in the manga than what you got in the anime. Just the small touches, like the scratches and the smoke that are coming out of Boruto's eyes, and I believe there was some smoke coming out of his nose at that point because he's absorbing the jutsu. You actually see that with some of the car member designs. You know, they don't have as much detail in the anime as they do in the actual manga. So I have to give credit where credit is actually due. There are a lot of flaws with the manga. A lot of times the anime cleans things up a lot better than what you get in the manga, but this is one of the few times where the manga version of this portion right here is actually superior. I like that right there. The one thing I thought probably could have been done a little bit better right there is I think that they probably could have had some type of thing like a monologue in Boruto's head where he's recalling something that Konohamaru taught him, or some type of lesson or a promise or something like that. You don't need the full flashback, but I thought maybe hearing the dialogue would be something that would have helped that a little more. But as it is now, that's still a very beautiful scene because the voice acting was well on point right here. So I like that right there. I like that right there. And the other thing I'll definitely say is I do like how Kashin Koji, you see right away that Koji takes interest in the Karma Seal. I like that. So the anime, very good job on the adaptation. Now, the other thing I'll definitely say is when it gets to the extra information that we got with the members in Kara, where you see that Amado sees Delta and he realizes that Delta was the one that had gone onto his computer screen and read his findings and information that he had on code. What I also like too is how Delta, she's like, oh, okay, it's got to be Koji as the spy. And so now we know why in the manga, why she was so suspicious and why she was on Kashin's Koji's ass so much. This is good stuff by the anime. The anime is giving you more information here. So I thought that that was good. And the other thing I'll definitely say is there's a scene with Code where if you've read the latest Boruto manga chapter, the anime, it is beautiful what the anime is doing right now. The anime is letting you know everything you need to know about Code in that one moment right there. Again, if you read the manga, you know I don't want to spoil it for anime only fans, but that's an important scene right there. That's some important dialogue that's in that moment right there. Very good. Now, when it comes to actually seeing Kawaki at the end of the episode, I thought that that was very well done. Very well done. I thought that was good. I thought that was very good. So the next episode that we get, that's when we're gonna get this really important fight with Kawaki. And so I'm gonna be interested to see if they add more like the trailer implied, or if they're just gonna go straight into the manga adaptation. I would expect them to add just a brief skirmish between Team 7 and Kawaki, and then you get the fight that happens immediately after that. That's what I'm more so expecting there. I've been baited and switched with Studio Period before, because I remember after everybody complained about all these fillers that happened after the Pain arc, we got this really cool trailer at, I believe it was Jump Festa at the time. We got this really cool trailer of Sage Mode Naruto fighting against Mangekyo's Sharingan Sasuke at the 5 Kage Summit, and at the end of the trailer, Sasuke actually awakens his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, if I remember that correctly. When the anime got it, obviously they didn't actually add anything to what you got into the manga. You just got the basic Rasengan Chidori clash at the end of that arc. And so I'm wondering if they're gonna do a similar thing here, which is ironic. I want to say that was 10 years ago on top of that. So it's very ironic given, you know, just how that's been going on right there. But, you know, the meeting of Kawaki, I thought that was neat. That was a very nice cliffhanger to end that off on there. And I like how Boruto realizes that, hey, this guy's got the same mark that I do. And so I like how they're doing a good job of just setting up like, hey, Kawaki's a pretty special boy. Overall, this wasn't a terrible episode. However, my episode question for you guys is, if you read the manga, how do you feel about that Easter egg with Code? And then if you're an anime only fan, how do you feel about the Konohamaru versus Kashin Koji stuff? Do you think Konohamaru put up a good enough fight, or do you think that just given who his opponent is, now that you know that Kashin Koji is on a completely different league in terms of skill and strength, do you think that Konohamaru was just outclassed and there was nothing really more that he could do? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.